Hi there, it's Hélène with another video, and this is the outcome of my 13 days with Joe Fresh. And we have a lot to talk about. So let's get this out of the way. If you like the content in this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you like the content on this channel in general, please consider subscribing. All right, let's get into it. Over 60 items to talk about. Now, if you want to know a ton about the lip products, I will only mention them in cursory fashion here because I did a whole lip swatch try-on video that I will link up in the cards. And I think that you can get a ton of information there. I will just mention each category and then move on from there. So why don't we start with that category? Going from least to most wear intensive. I just want to start off with one miscellaneous product that did not make it into the lip swatch video or the intro, and this is a Joe Fresh lip gloss. Now I wonder if it was a previous iteration of the lip gloss that I had purchased in a clearance bin at Superstore, and it is in the color Raisin, and I quite like it. I did wear it in one of the videos. Next, we had the lip balm, and I'm holding up my absolute favorite, which is in the color Pecan. This is the color. It is beautiful. I really like it. I do find the price a little bit steep. I think that regular price they are $12, but very often you can get Joe Fresh at 40% off at Shoppers Drug Mart. And I think that when that's the case, you know, paying $6 or $7 is not that bad for a lip balm. Next, we have the lip lacquers. I do find that they move around a ton on the lips, and I don't particularly enjoy it. I did wear them in a couple of videos, and they pooled very badly on this side of my mouth, and I did not appreciate that. I have purchased a couple of invisible lip liners that I will try and see if that corrects the situation, but it's not cute. It's not cute when it's bleeding out on the side of your lips. So I was going to say I'm on the fence. I'm not on the fence right now. I don't like them, but I'm going to see if I can find a solution to keep wearing them. I thoroughly enjoy the lip glosses. I will continue wearing all of them. They surprisingly don't move around as much as the lip lacquers that have shea butter in them, and highly, highly recommend. Again, I find them expensive at $10 or $12. I think they're $10. I would definitely look for a 30-40% off sale in order to get them, because I don't think that they're worth double-digit pricing. Well, okay, hang on. The one called Angélique, it is my absolute favorite gloss of all time across all brands, so maybe that one, if I had to, I would pay full price. But I would try my darndest not to. How's that? Next up are the long wear lip veils. This is Hydrangea, and I like these. I actually like them less, though. I like the colors, but I like them less, though, than the lip creams. They are the ones that looked the best, in my opinion, in throughout all the swatches across the board. But the two that I have a big preference, though, are the lip balms and the lip glosses, hands down. I guess wearability is a big factor for me, that I can put something on my lips and not have to constantly check in the mirror that it's okay. So it's either a gloss or a dry down lipstick. I think that's kind of the way I go. Okay, I thought we could go through the products in the way they would be applied on the face. This is a Joe Fresh hydrating spray, and it says prep and prime. So I guess it can be used as a primer. I used it as a setting spray. I did not try it as a primer. What I did use as a primer was the hydrating primer. And I thought it worked fine. It went nicely onto the skin, and I don't have any issues with it. Another primer that I only used once because it was so glowy, it was ridiculous, was this Joe Fresh Illuminating Primer. Now, I may have used way too much, and I think I'm going to give this one another try, but the first time I used it, I really was not impressed, and I kind of shied away from it because I had another option. My bad. I had two foundations in porcelain. One is called the Daily Boost Fluid Foundation. And there's quite a bit of product in here. They both come with a pump. And then this other one is the Hydra Stay Liquid Foundation with argan oil. Now, despite this one having argan oil, I found them both drying and not satisfactory. I have combo skin. They were fine in the T-zone, but all around the periphery of the face, you could see all the dryness accumulating even within a half hour of putting it on, and got worse and worse during the day. I don't like these at all. I might try mixing them with other more hydrating foundations, but right now they're a hard pass for me. Let's talk concealers. I had two, the light and the medium illuminating concealers. These two. This one was way too pink. This one was okay, but a little bit dark for what I needed to do. And so they were not my favorite. However, these stick foundation, these foundation sticks were all right. And I had a medium, a light, and one of them does not have a name. It just shows that there are three colors, one yellow undertone, one pink undertone, and then a medium. I liked all of them. I did tend to like the yellow undertone and the medium. The pinkish one wasn't really a great match, but I did pick it up just in case. And I do like the way they are angled. They make it easy to apply with precision. And you will see that the medium one, because I was using it around my nose, has received the most love. And I will continue to use these. I don't mind these sticks. Most of my concealer is either a wand or liquid, and these are a nice change for me. I'll just show you the wand on the illuminating, just a typical wand for applying concealer. So again, I really like the stick ones. And then these, the light medium Longwear Spot Concealer, does not do a great job. It's very thick, so it's nice that you can just kind of cover a pimple. And if you notice, I have a breakout here on my chin. I am not a person who breaks out. So the fact that I've got a bunch of stuff going on my chin, I'm not very happy. I suspect it is foundation related or powder related. And I have tried using this to cover this business, and it does an awful job. You can see, like, I haven't been able to cover it up worth beans. I put it on and it's just gone within 2 minutes. I'm not even wiping my chin or rubbing my chin. I have no idea. This is crap unless I'm using it wrong, which is, I guess, possible, but I've been using concealer for quite a while and I've never had it this bad. A couple of things that I am a fan of are these two stick concealers in lavender and green. I use green around my nose for the redness, and I use lavender to combat sallowness. I will continue using these. I think they are good products. They get a gold star from me. Next up, I'm going to go over some cream products. I have two blushes and one highlighter. The peach blush is in Peach Dream, and it looks like this. It is by far my preference. It looks great. It has some luminosity, almost some iridescence to it, and I really like the way it looks on the cheek. It's almost like it has the highlighter built in, if that makes sense, for the cheek. Then the rose color is very very potent as color, and I tried applying it. There's a video of me trying to apply it like I did the peach, and I have it going, it's in my get ready with me. I have it going all the way up my cheek, and I had to fix it afterwards. Kind of funny if you want to get some comic relief. I don't mind those blushes. I just went a little heavy-handed with the rose, not having used it for a number of days and forgetting how potent it was, but it's very easy to fix if you're not used to cream products. That's one thing. You can lighten them until you're satisfied. And then I have this illuminator or highlighter. Okay, so here's the illuminator. Again, stick. It's very subdued, so you can, it's buildable though. You can put some on, see if you have enough, put some more. I like the control of a cream highlighter more than powder, and I find it very flattering. So all of these cream products I'm actually a fan of, despite my mishap with the rose color. Moving on to powder, there is this Joe Fresh CC Translucent Press Powder. This one makes me think of the Physicians Formula CC powder, and it is very, very white, and it really left a white cast on my skin. I had to really kind of buff it out to remove that almost white veil on my skin. You would have to be very, very fair for this to work well for you. Just a word of caution. Next up, there is the Joe Fresh translucent powder. You'll see it's a loose powder. The cap on it, the sifter dispenses a lot of product. I don't know if you can see there. I had it upright and just tilted a little bit to show you. And I'm not too crazy about the pull here, but it dispenses a lot of powder at a time, so it's kind of messy. But I don't have, assuming this is not what breaks me out, I don't have a big problem with this powder. It has a mirror as well. Out of the two powders, hands down, this one gets my vote. It goes on without having to be too thick, you know, having to put too much on. It's very fine, so I didn't feel like it was going on kind of chunky or gritty. And I was actually, the first time I used it, I thought, not bad. So I don't mind it. On to a couple of bronzers. I have the Sand single bronzer, and then I have a bronzer duo that is a bronzer and a highlighting powder, and this one is called Sunkissed. So let's just talk about Sand first. Now, I don't know what other colors they have. There was only the one that was available, and as you can see, it's been getting some love. It's very subtle. I think it's a very light bronzer. I can use this one in the winter if I decide to keep using this bronzer. I had no complaints. It was very buildable, very hard to overdo it right off the hop. So I would say this is a great bronzer for someone just getting into bronzing and possibly using a bronzer as contour. I don't find it too warm for doing some of that. It's not cool like the Hoola, but I think it's a reasonable color, almost drawing a little bit to the peach. The other bronzer is in this duo, and the duo again is called Sunkissed. It's a very flattering bronzer, and the bronzer is a little bit darker than the Sand bronzer I was just showing you. So you can see that it's a bit darker. And then the highlighter is very, very, very subtle, and I think that is great for somebody who's not used to using a whole lot of highlighter. It can take the stress out of trying to use highlighters. It's very subtle on the cheek. I am comparing it as well to another highlighter called the Luster highlighter, and it looks like this. So you can see it's a lot more sparkly. I wouldn't say glittery, but definitely sparkly compared to the other one. I'll just put them side by side so that you can see. Here they are. Next up, we can talk eyes, and I have a few products here. Let's talk brows first. I have a Joe Fresh brow pencil in Ash. This is the color. It goes on pretty well, pretty smooth, not hard to apply at all, does not tug on the skin. It was a little bit too light brown for me, but was okay, and it has a decent spoolie. And I do like, as I've mentioned in a previous video, that the caps are the same size on both sides, so you can't make a mistake as to which side is which. And then these two brow products are similar but different. This one is a crayon, and it is called the Universal Brow Crayon. This is what it looks like. And it's like between a wax and a pencil, and it's very, very easy. It glides onto the eye very easily. The Ash pencil, and this is what I have in my brow today, along with the Anastasia Clear Brow Gel. And then this one is kind of, I would say, in between the two, and it's called the Universal Brow Sculpting Wax. And so if you want to just use the pencil for the most part, you would use this wax to just keep the hairs in place, and you'll see that it's a little bit cooler than the Universal Brow Crayon, but I think that you can see that that plus the crayon would kind of give you what you have in the middle, which is the Universal Brow Crayon. I'm satisfied, very satisfied with all three. As a matter of fact, I picked up a backup of this one because I know I'm going to keep using it. If you have 30 seconds in the morning to do your brows and you don't have very sparse brows, this is genius. I love it, love it, love it. Moving on to eyeshadow, I have tried the Joe Fresh eye primer, and the wand looks like this. It dispenses very little product at a time. I don't have a big problem with that. Not crazy about it. I had a little bit of a freak out when I was doing the get ready with me because my eyes got really crepey all of a sudden, and I blamed it on this eye primer, and I was wrong. So I'm wearing it today and my eyes are not crepey at all. The culprit was the foundation that I said earlier was so drying. It was this one on that day. And I mistakenly put, because sometimes I put foundation and it goes on my eyelids. It's never been an issue with this. I was joking around that if you wanted to see what your eyes would look like 10, 15 years later, wear this eye primer. Well, no, it was that foundation that was on my eyelids that just caused all that crepiness. So having tried this eye primer a couple more times after that video, I realized that this was not the culprit. I had 4 eyeshadows from Joe Fresh. The only one that shows on the eye is Pretty Penny. Unless you are ridiculously fair, these other colors do not show up at all. Let me just open all of them. This cinnamon, barely, maybe, possibly a light transition. Honeybell, a little bit on maybe the brow bone or the inner lid, but more than that, and I mean, there's nothing. I would maybe use it to set my eye primer. And definitely this one, nothing more than to set the eye primer. Like it does nothing. And this is the pale pink. A waste of time. Pretty Penny is the only one out of the 4 that was okay. Now, there was a very limited number of eyeshadows when I picked up my first batch. And when there were some other ones available, nothing was super dark or intense. So I just dispensed with buying more because I had tried all 4 of those within the first couple of days, and I was, no. I used them as a base a couple times, but didn't use them a whole lot afterwards. And I ended up bringing in the Sephora Filters collection, 3 palettes that I'll go over in a different video, to have eyeshadows to use during this this tryout period of Joe Fresh products. Really, really lousy eyeshadows. Now we're on to pencils. Not a whole lot to talk about. I'm going to swatch all of them and then talk about them. One small story as I'm swatching, when I was realized how bad the eyeshadows were, I decided to do a look with just Joe Fresh eyeshadows. It was so bad that I ended up using the brown pencil, eyeliner pencil, as my lid color, so that I would have some pigmentation and still just have Joe Fresh items on my eye. It was pretty bad. Okay, so here are the 4 liners. I have Twilight right here, and it has some sparkle in it. Hopefully you can see it on camera. This one is Plum, and it shows quite brown on the eye. I'm wearing it today on the upper and lower lash line, and I don't think it shows, oh no, sorry, only on the upper. I have it on the upper lash line, and I have Champagne, which has completely gone away, on the lower lash line, so I had champagne. It really has, champagne has no staying power in the waterline whatsoever, but I kept trying. All right, so the second one I said was plum, that shows up pretty much brown. This was brown. I have it in the upper waterline today. It does have a little bit better staying power than champagne. Champagne is here. I think I would use, let me do it right now. I think I would use champagne kind of as an inner corner highlight. So let me just use champagne right now. Okay, I've just added, I put champagne again in my waterline, and I also put it in the inner corner going up just about 20%, 30% of my lid, just as liner. And I like the effect. I'm not mad at it. I think it looks good. Depending on your skin tone, you might even be able to use champagne as a brow highlighter as well. So these are the 4 liners. Oh, and I forgot to mention, they're all just regular pencil liners, except for brown, which is a twist up. Now, there were, I'm sure, some other liners, but the Shoppers Drug Mart, where I went for these heavily discounted items, because Shoppers Drug Mart is discontinuing them, but they'll still be at Superstore, I just picked up what they had, and this is what they had. So I just picked them all up. Apparently plum is a popular color, and I can see why. It's quite flattering, I think, if you tend to look for cool tone looks. And Twilight, I used it a couple times on the lower lash line, and I wasn't mad at it. I thought it was kind of pretty. I just don't tend to use black on the lower lash line all that often, but you could see the sparkle, and it was kind of cute. The only additional item would be the Set and Go spray. I think that the pump, I don't know if I can show it on camera. It's a very, very fine mist, and one single spray covers a lot. Now, I don't know if any of the mist showed up for you on the video, but the mist cloud was about this big. So it's very diffuse. And so you don't end up with water droplets on your face, but it has almost like not a detergent, almost like a dryer sheet smell to it. So if you are put off by that kind of a smell, you might not like it. But there's quite a bit in here. There's 3.4 fluid ounces, which is one of the larger setting sprays or prep sprays that I've encountered. I think it's good value for the money, frankly. So if you are looking for a setting spray, I would definitely say that this is probably good bang for your buck, whether it's on sale or not, just because 3.4 fluid ounces is a lot. One last item I should mention as well is an item I was using before this focus on Joe Fresh, and it is the Joe Fresh facial toner. I found this toner, I was using it, like I said, before this brand new focus. I find it's just fine. It's an average, nothing special toner. And obviously I'm okay using it. I'm about 3/4 of the way through. And I don't intend to repurchase. I prefer the Pixie Glow Tonic, frankly. But it was nice to try a toner out that was really ridiculously cheap. It was on clearance. And so I decided to try it, and I'm fine with it. 200 ml, 6.7 fluid ounces. It's a decent size bottle. Yeah, it was fine. I wouldn't repurchase. I have a preferred toner that I will go back to. So, all in all, there are some decent products. I said the setting spray was fine. I had no problem with it. I think that the stick concealer is fine. The powder is fine. I think these color correctors are great. I would definitely recommend them. I was even able to use the lavender under my eyes, just kind of thinned out a little bit with my fingers, and I was able to use it with nothing on top, which is just, maybe I just have a really good match for my skin. The green was effective for covering up my redness around my nose. I'm not wearing it today, by the way, so you'll see some redness, but I just wanted a more natural look today. And also because of my breakout, I didn't want to put a ton of stuff on my face. This highlighter gets a big yes from me. It's very flattering. I've got it right here. Very cute. I liked it. I don't know if it's really picking up on camera, but I really enjoyed this highlighter. And for somebody just starting out in with using different powders, I really think that this bronzer duo in Sunkissed is beautiful. I would highly recommend it. And the highlighter is like, it almost has a little bit of a peach tone. I liked it. And I was quite a fan of this bronzer. I did not hesitate. This is the sand color bronzer. I did not hesitate to use this at all. And it has 8.8, almost 9 grams in it. I think it's reasonable. Obviously not a ton of product, but just fine. And I really like these cream products. I was delighted. The first time I used them all, I was delighted and couldn't wait to use them again. So my favorites are definitely these two. But definitely for a, if you prefer the pinks as opposed to the peaches, this is fine too. This CC translucent pressed powder, I would say would be a hard pass for most people because it just gives such a white cast to the skin unless you, like I said, really buff it out, and not a big fan. I would say though that the bells of the ball are really the balms and the glosses. I think those are great. And in third place would be the lip creams. If you want to see more about those, please go take a look at the swatch video. You will see me try on 3 of them, and I think that will give you a good idea. But these glosses and these balms, you will see me wearing over and over and over again. When it comes to the whole line, I'm gonna give it 6.5. But when it comes to the products I really like, we've got some solid 8s and 9s in here. And I put it against brands that would be double the price of what is here. So go for the bronzers, go for the highlighters, go for the stick blushes and highlights. The pressed powder is okay. I'm sorry, the loose powder, not the pressed powder. The loose powder is okay. If you're looking for basic liners, they are basic, but they'll be okay. I did not have a chance to try the mascara. And yeah, the stick concealer. And definitely the color correctors. And the brow products, I bought a backup. That tells you something. And I also bought a backup of Pecan, by the way, or Pecan. That, the balm I just showed you, I bought one in every color. I have kept one in every color. You will see them right here at the back, if the camera's showing there. I have them all lined up. I go for at least one every day, and that says a lot to me. They're very soothing, and they put a little color on your lips, and I think they're great. So there you have it, Joe Fresh, solid 6.5 overall, but some 8 and 9s in there. I think you can tell which ones I really like as far as the products I was able to try. Again, where I was to get some products was a bit picked over. But I hope you found this review useful. If you have some favorite Joe Fresh products, please let us know down below, or if you have some things that we should stay away from, we'd love to hear about that too, I'm sure. I thank you for your time today. It was a long one, but I hope a good one, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. But for now, take care.